I just bought a coffee in a local cafe, and it got me thinking about how stressful it is for people who work in the service industry and people who serve us every day and work in customer service jobs. And we should be listening to those people because, and I see it every day, those people are the subject of abuse by some people, but even just on the general public. Sometimes I'm shocked at the level of sort of casual ignorance that's shown to people who are serving us, just totally disregarding them, looking at them purely as robots to deliver a cup of coffee or whatever the person is demanding at them, and they completely dehumanize the person, not even speaking to them, not even looking at them. And that must be kind of soul destroying for the people in the service industry. And this is why I have this concept which I would like to spread out, and it's called smile both ways. So what is that? So in customer service, when you get a customer service job, and nearly everybody has had one, when you're younger, you work in a bar, or you work in a shop, or you work in a cafe, and really you're told to smile for the customer, and the customer is always right. And that is fine, and that's very admirable, and that's the way I would run a business, because the customer is your source of income. You don't get paid by your employer. The money is coming from the customer. So the customer has a fiver in his or her pocket, and that fiver which you're getting for delivering the coffee is what is going towards your salary. The employer is not taking his or her money and giving it to you, it's from the customer. So the customer is paying it, and that's why it's so crucial. The customer is always right. However, and that's kind of the capitalist story, really. It's all about the customer is king and everything. But I think in the modern era, we've got to mature that, and we've got to look at that's only 50% of the story. Because as customers, we have an obligation as well towards people, these millions of people who are working in the customer service industry. And that's why, instead of just the customer service people being told to smile at the customer, there should be a contract maybe above the door in all these customer service areas, in cafes and in pubs and shops and clothes shops and everything. Smile both ways. So what that means is the customer is committing to smile at the customer service agent, and both physically and metaphorically. So we are committing as customers to give the same level of warmth and gratitude towards the people who are serving us as they're expected to give us. And if you have that, then you have a balance between the customer and the customer service agent. And why is this so vital? Well, quite apart, it should be important because we should be treating everybody with respect anyway, and it's so easy to brighten up somebody's day by saying, thank you very much, that is lovely, that's really good, thank you, smile, yeah, really appreciate it, see you next time, see you tomorrow. And that was actually the experience that I had in this cafe earlier. They recognized me and they said, oh, I know your order. And I said, oh, thanks a million. It's great that you remember me. And it was a warmth that lasted about 10-20 seconds, but it's probably, you could underestimate how much that will brighten up somebody's day, particularly if they've had experiences, which they have, and I saw it earlier, where they get a really ignorant customer who does not treat them as a human being beforehand, and probably regularly. So that, just the small bits, so that's why we should do it. But otherwise, also, everybody who is in the customer service industry also is a customer somewhere and buys stuff, goods and services from somebody else. And we, who are customers, are also working in the customer service industry at some stage in our life. So that's the selfish side of it. That really we're dealing with ourselves over the course of our lives. We're on both sides of the thing, but we shouldn't have to resort to that kind of selfish motivation. And I find it distressing, really, that that's often what is appealed to people. Oh, look, don't be mean to these people, because that could be your sister or your mother or your cousin. Really, we shouldn't have to resort to the selfish side of it, that it's to just because we have our own selfish interest. We should look on these people as people who deserve respect, and also the fact that it's so easy to give that respect and that gratitude, and you kind of get that glow of gratitude and warmth back anyway. It's just a pleasant way. And our world could be transformed by smiling both ways. So that could be a revolutionary customer service model where you don't just have 50% of the story there, you have a more holistic view that we're all customers and people who are serving those customers, and there's a social contract on both sides to provide the same level of warmth. It's because otherwise it's a bit like the parent-child relationship, that the parent has all the responsibility and the child is below and has no responsibility. And that's a bit like the way it is at the moment. It's like the parent is behind the desk serving the customer, and quite often that could be an 18-year-old girl who's barely out of school, and then the child comes in who has no responsibility for their own behaviour and is expected to demand everything from this person. And that child in this scenario could be a 50-year-old man who is giving abuse to the person behind the desk. And really, we've got to level that up. And smile both ways is a concept, a customer service contract between both sides, where we both realise we need to share the love and the warmth, and we need to treat each other as equals, and realise that we all have a responsibility for making everybody's day that much better.